A very good afternoon and welcome to the Lounge. It's your girl Corey as always. We all know how we do every single Wednesday. We dive into the lunch date. And well, you all know, this time around I'm having someone quite special. I'm super excited for this one because I believe there's so much we're going to learn because Jackie is an esteemed attorney advocate for social justice. Now you know what I'm talking about. And well, not only that, she's also an influential thinker. And beyond that, she's a founder and a CEO of CivSource Africa Group. So I'm super excited to have her in studio. So let's dive straight. Let her say hi. You may think I'm just praising.
I know, right?
She's in the building.
No. I'm here. Hi. I hope you're having lunch or thinking about having lunch as you join us. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I must say there's so much you do, like so much. And you still look amazingly great. Hey, people are not seeing, but I'm just giving them a little glimpse of what I'm seeing right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
They say the economy is too much and everything, Uganda all together, but you look quite amazing.
Thank you.
I'm glad you've come to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's begin off with your career. Any woman would want to know, how did this journey begin? And so, how is it going?
And
so
how is
far?
it going? Oh Lord, the beginning and how it's going. Anyway, so I begin my journey. I'm a lawyer by profession. I studied at Makerere. I studied in the days when Makerere was the only university.
What?
So the law school at Makerere was the only law school. I know you guys are looking at me like, how ancient is this woman? Anyhow, it's all right. So the only university, so probably my class was about 50-ish.
Yeah.
So I started off my career as a volunteer in FIDA, Uganda, way back when. The law school used to have an annual law students conference.
Yes.
And the one that I attended, Honorable Sarah Bagalariwo, was the then chairperson of FIDA. And she talked to us about what FIDA did. And I was really intrigued and said, I think if I hadn't yet crystallized what I want to do with my law degree, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so actually our current Minister of Justice was the guild president and there was a strike.
Yeah.
I remember the late Justice, the late Olanya was his deputy and, we were sent off campus for a while. And so during that long holiday, I walked to Jubilee House where FIDA office was and I asked to intern. Yeah. And so that started my career journey with them. So every long holiday on campus, I would go there and, sit down with the senior lawyers and watch them take notes and have conversations with the women about what the issues were and then, learning the process. Then you write a letter, then you call the gentleman, then you have a meeting and then, and learning those ropes. It was quite interesting. One of my teachers then was Hope Mwesije, Honorable, and some of the others have since passed. And so after FIDA, I then went to Action for Development, ACFOD, which was started by Miriam Matembe and others, Joy Kwesiga and Hilda Tadria and that group of women. In ACFOD, I was particularly doing legal rights education. I went there as a legal officer. Yeah. And this time we used to go out to especially interact with women councillors, to teach them about bylaws, to teach them about the Local Government Act and what their responsibilities and roles were, how to caucus, how to, introduce bylaws on issues of women and children in their communities.
Yes.
I then went, so it's a winding journey up and down until I finally land where I am in CivSource. One of the things I love about my journey is that I did a brief stint in the justice, law and order sector. Yeah. So having worked several years in civil society, I thought, but what is this thing called government? How does it run? Who is who? What, I was curious as a person who had worked from the outside, like, what is it? Yes, we stand outside here as civil society and we advocate with, for, against, but what is it really like? What is the... So I lasted all of 7 months, and in the 7 months, though, it was an amazing journey just of learning what is the Ministry of Finance, what does it do, when are budgets proposed, and what is that budget cycle, and in the civil service, when we say undersecretary, director, like what is that lineup and who has power when and where to do what. So I enjoyed my time there, and then went out and went to a European Union program.
Yeah.
And again, this one, the thing I love about it was it enabled me see civil society from the farthest reaches of Kisoro all the way to Adjumani. I really traversed this country.
Yeah.
And because I think, especially in Kampala, when people talk about civil society, they tend to think only of Kampala-based NGOs, but there are, organizations doing amazing things in far-flung places.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we could talk like for donkey days and people's lunch would grow cold. So it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, well, your story, you have spent over 30 years advocating for human rights and social development.
Like, how old are you? I've been advocating for as long as you've been alive.
I know, right?
Lord Jesus, this is... Anyway.
So what drew you to this path, and what keeps you motivated?
So what drew me was how I was raised.
Yeah.
My parents, who are now retired. My father was an Anglican priest. My mother is a trained veterinarian, and she worked a few years, and then after a while took the choice to be a stay-at-home mom. So she raised us, but they raised us with the sense of justice. They raised us with the sense of you do right by people. They raised us with a sense of you're here for a purpose that's greater than yourself. You're not just here for you to feed your stomach and to be, so find that purpose, find that thing for which you're here and pursue it with all your heart. So I think those have been, for me, the anchors.
Yeah.
I saw them visit the sick and the elderly, of course, as priests. That's part of the work that they do, that they go out in community to serve.
Yes.
And so having witnessed service, I grew up therefore with a sense of my life is for service of others, and I am deeply passionate about justice, and so that is what I'll do, serve and justice. And now in later years, also connecting that to generosity, and particularly African generosity.
Okay.
Yeah.
The motivation, though?
The motivation, I think, is really that our days bleak, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the hope for me is that I'm here for a reason. And even if my reason was that today I will speak and someone will be inspired, I must still speak. I must still do, because that's what gives hope. That's what keeps me motivated. There's a reason I'm alive. There's a reason I'm alive. My mentor, one of my mentors, Hope Chigodu, one day asked me a question. She said, Jackie, of all the people who could have been alive today, why are you alive? And always ask yourself that, because even literally as we speak now, unfortunately, someone's life has stopped. So the fact that you still have breath means there's a reason you're still alive. So keep doing, keep going, keep doing, keep going.
Well, let's talk about CivSource Africa.
Yes.
Just a little bit. Let's talk about it, because everyone has this thing, this dream. What was CivSource for you?
CivSource was a place of birth. I sort of felt, for those who have read the Bible, I felt like Mary, who was pregnant with a good thing, but it's like, but did I want to be pregnant? Was this the time to be pregnant? Like all those questions, but you're pregnant with a good thing. And I say that because CivSource was born out of transition. I was working for a US-based firm, and they were closing down operations, but offered me the opportunity to start something of my own.
Yes.
Up to that point in my life, which was 2017, I had always worked for others. I had never, ever in my life thought that I would found something of myself. So yes, given this opportunity, embraced it, and then absolutely freaked out of, but did I want it?
Yeah.
And so I quickly had to get a coach, and worked with Pastor Moses Mukisa now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he helped me to settle my anxiety and helped me to think through what is it I want to build since we have this opportunity, and what do I want to build? An organization that talks about, shares about, researches about African giving and generosity, because we are a generous people.
Yes.
But the narrative, unfortunately, and the way things appear is as though Africa is this hopeless basket case with nothing going on. And if it wasn't for the West, we would all be dead, right? To debunk that. But also I'm passionate about leaders. So we work with, for, and serve leaders as one of the things we do. And then we also mobilize funding to try and share it and spread it, like I said, as far-flung as possible, to organizations, institutions, people that may not have access to resourcing for their work.
Wow, that's quite amazing. But then with all that you've said, I bet you go through challenges,
Where do I start?
There are also breakthroughs. The challenges and the breakthroughs.
Of course.
I think let's just begin off with the breakthroughs for a bit. Because anyone who has something quite amazing like what you've just said, CivSource, definitely there's some moments you sit back and like, wait a minute, I've come that far. So can we talk about those breakthroughs for a minute?
So, and they're ongoing, right? For as long as we live, there will be breakthroughs and challenges.
Yes.
But I think for me, the beauty of even running CivSource has been the education about tax and taxation and tax systems. It's been breakthroughs around how you build something literally from the ground up.
Yes.
So hiring, and how do you hire the right team? And how do you create cohesion? How do you spread vision? How do you get people absolutely bought into what you're doing? The breakthroughs have been you write that grant and win it. And it's like, yes. We can live for one more day, right? So it's all those things. It is celebrating the smallest thing. I think that for me is absolutely the breakthrough that I have learned in this journey, in this season. Take nothing for granted. And I know we are all busy with, you say it has closed, and but it's to say that for every time I can walk through my office door, even just walking through it, that I should not take for granted. Anytime that I have a team, people have had to fire people, right? That I should not take that for granted. Anytime that I tell my staff, anytime we make payroll, that might be simple, but that's a breakthrough, because you know that, yes, we've done payroll for Jan, now we have to think of payroll for February. Like literally it is. Anything big and small is a breakthrough, and I've learned to take nothing for granted.
Well, challenges though?
So the challenges, those days and nights when you are... There's a time I was actually suffering from insomnia. I couldn't sleep.
Oh my God.
And part of it was just holding the anxiety of, will we live to see another day? Because any institution needs resources for its work. Right? Whether you ask a radio station, whether you ask that woman selling, fruit, I found you guys eating fruit, right? You need resources. And so when the math is not mathing, I found that caused me anxiety. When you have to have difficult conversations. Oh my goodness. You roll, you turn, you toss, you're like, how do I say it? How do I say it in the kindest way? And you wring your fingers and every day it's passing, you're like, this thing is becoming a frog, it's becoming it's becoming an elephant, right? So people relations.
That is
people
a big
and
elephant.
And yet you aren't a leader without leading people. So as a leader, you must learn your people skills, right? And in the countries that we live in, it is what it is in terms of there is shrinking civic space. You asked me where my career started. We used to be on these streets of Kampala. I don't know how many times I marched up and down this street where the radio is, fighting for any sorts of rights. And then now when I walk past the city square and think, it's no longer a public square.
Yay. Talk about it.
You can't, then it became, no, you have to ask for permission. And then the police may dodge you, or, then we started chasing around activists, and then we started arresting them, and then we started imprisoning them, and then we started torturing them, and it's just sad to have watched the civic space shrinking. Now, do we have social media? Yes. Do we have all these other aids? Yeah. So you still have to find your way to stand for justice, even despite. But yeah, that is the constant challenge we live in.
Yeah.
Yes, there's so much injustice, but how do I speak about it and live another day?
I love the way you said it, because this Uganda of ours. But anyway, you talked about anxiety, and I'm very sure someone listening in right now could be going through it. So let's just imagine a day in Jackie Asiimwe's shoes. Yeah, how do you cope with your anxiety? How do you try to manage yourself around it? Because someone probably could pick a leaf and say,
I know. And anxiety is real, and I know that COVID and other world events like that have helped us come face to face with the challenge of mental health and mental well-being.
Yes.
How do I deal with anxiety? One way is I've learned to be grateful. I keep a gratitude jar at my home, and we keep one at office.
Okay.
And we're always reminding ourselves, be grateful, because sometimes you're anxious because you're looking at what you don't have.
Yes.
And you forget that you actually have a lot. Like I said, just the fact that you're alive today.
Yes, yes.
Because right at this very minute, someone's soul has left.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Their body. So gratitude is one way that I keep myself grounded when I'm anxious. The other is surrounding myself with a tribe. So who is your tribe? Who are those people who you can actually be yourself with 100%? Because sometimes the anxiety is also because I have no one to tell.
Yes.
And so I'm carrying it alone.
Yes.
Don't carry things alone. People find that one, and the tribe can be one, can be a tribe of one. Don't think of a whole clan meeting. No. It can be a tribe of one, but who is that person who holds your heart, who guards your heart, who guards your secrets, but also is able to tell you the truth within there?
Oh, yeah.
And, the other thing is, I still go to my mama. Yeah.
There's just something about mommy. There's always something about...
I still go to my parents. I know that they still hold me in prayer. They tell us every day they pray for us. We have 5 children, and they said every day they mention us by name.
Yes.
So just the fact that I know that my parents are praying for me. Sometimes I've brought them to office. Yeah. Sometimes I've taken them out for breakfast, and I say, this thing that I'm carrying, help me. And sometimes it's just, what is, letting down my hair. It can be as simple as, I love watching sunsets. So what is it that you love to do that you can find, those small pockets of joy to create, even within the anxiety?
Yeah. Well, you've talked about your mother. Yes. So I bet you have one of the sweetest memories. I bet there's something you always look back and, oh my God, I will never, ever in my life forget. Can I just talk about the most cherished moment?
My mom still bakes me birthday cakes. Like seriously. And
That's so sweet.
It's she is 78.
Yeah.
This year I'm going to be 55, and I know on my birthday my cake is coming. But it's so special for me. Like, mom does that still. That's one of the most special. When before I left their home, she still used to pack for me.
You just have the sweetest mom.
She spoils me because I hate packing. And sometimes I can go, mommy, help me pack my bag. But and those are, we take them as small things, but it's just that way to show you're special.
Yes.
Because who packs your clothes? That person needs to know you, right?
Yeah.
It's not just anyone.
Yeah.
There's that for me, and of course praying for me always, and I know she's always a call away.
Oh yes, yes. They say behind every successful human being, as long as you're an adult, there's a prayer warrior behind you, and that's your mother. Yes, Well, can we talk about the Walk Talk Connect? You founded this, and I must say it's quite interesting to actually just say the word Walk Talk Connect. Can we talk about it? What brings together the movement and the conversation, and what inspired you, and how has it changed the way you connect with people?
So what inspired me was, like I said, remember I talked about purpose.
Yes.
So we all, no, we don't all do exercise. Scratch that. There are many people that do exercise.
Yes.
And it's absolutely good for the body, for the soul.
Yeah.
Now, exercise is my form of walking. So whether or not I walk with people, I walk every day.
Yeah.
Then I started to ask myself, what else can I do with my walking? And that's how the idea of Walk, Talk, Connect was born. It was just asking that, so what is the purpose in this? Yes, it is healing me, healing my body, but then, and because I like to talk to people, I'm like, the idea was forming, and then I one day walk with Joseph Beanga, who works for road safety, and I said, I want to do more. I want to do more. Yes, I walk, but then what?
Yes.
And so he encouraged me with my dream. And really, that's how it started. It was, how can I add purpose to what I am doing? And it's been absolutely amazing. Today, I think I did my 376th or 7th walk.
Oh, wow.
And it's been amazing. And I kid you not, Corey, half those people have been absolute strangers. As in, we're literally meeting on the day we are walking, such as is happening tomorrow. And what has been mind-blowing is that we don't know how much we have in common until you open your mouth to have a conversation. Because then you're like, oh yeah, I also like that. Oh, so you like, and I'm like, why do we have war? Maybe we should talk more to each other. Because then you'd find, actually, I don't have to like you, but I have things in common with you.
Yes.
And for me, it's been a way to connect in a different way. It's been a way to even learn just conversational skills. So I do remember the first time I walked with an ambassador, I can wing it with Ugandans. We'll really find something to talk about. The first time I walked with an ambassador, I even bought, there's this amazing woman who does talking cards. And I thought, if everything fails, because also what do you talk about with an ambassador? If everything fails, at least I have these cards. But I challenged myself. I said, Jackie, she's human. You're human. Find something. So it's been interesting and amazing to challenge myself to ask and to listen.
Oh, that's important.
And to remember.
Oh, yeah.
Because after the walks, I write a short piece about the walk. And I don't record the walks. So literally, I have to remember what you told me.
Oh, you
but
have
also
a memory.
sit down and sift. So what is important to share? Because I can't share the whole 1 hour conversation or 1.5, however long we walk. So the conversational skills, the listening skills, and the memory, and then drawing from memory to write lessons.
Well, you said it's happening tomorrow. Where? I want to be part of it.
So I can't tell you.
Oh, come on!
I will text it to you. And the walks are private in that sense. So unless the person has agreed to walk with but I have walked with groups. So I've walked with sisters, with couples, there's a time I walked with a whole team of people. So, but most times it's one-on-one and, in respect of the privacy of the person, but we shall go walking, you and I. Yes, we shall. We shall.
Well, let's go ahead, take a tiny break. We'll be right back. Well, to those who have just joined us, I'm having lawyer Jacqueline Asiimwe in the building. So if you have any questions, you know the drill. Hit me up on our WhatsApp number 0752711820. I'm loving this lunch already. There with a song called $1 Million. Playing right here on the lounge on 88.2 Sunny FM. We all know Wednesdays are all about the lunch date. And with me today is Jacqueline Asiimwe, a lawyer, CEO, and founder of CivSource Africa. And now I've actually just learned about, the Walk, Talk, Connect. And I could say there's power in conversation, Jackie.
Absolutely.
Can we just talk about that? Because truth be told, sometimes all you need is to have a conversation. With the conversations you've had with a Walk, Talk, Connect, let's talk about it a bit. Let's talk about that power of, conversation.
Conversation is a door. Because it lets you in. And just think about it also in our house, there's the front door, then there's the door to this place, then there's the door to that place, then there's the door, and then there are even doors we don't even know about, right?
Yeah.
So conversation, I think you need to come to it with curiosity.
Yes.
Like don't make assumptions. And I think I've had to bust that myth every time. When I think I know someone, is when I tell myself I really don't know you. So again, that curiosity kicks in. Not curiosity to poke about, but it's curiosity in the most pleasant of senses.
Yes.
Because there's the front door, then you ask another question, and then they let you into another door, which you ask another question, they lead you into another door. So just see it as you being given access to this beautiful house. And just like when you visit someone's house, you don't go all over the place. You treat it with kindness. You treat it with honor, because someone is sharing of themselves, right? So we could talk the whole day. Like now when you have like literally we could talk about it the whole day.
Yes.
And like I said, the other thing I've loved about the conversations is challenging myself to know how to ask the right question, because it is the question in the conversation that leads you to a certain door.
Yes.
Meaning you have to listen, right? So it's knowing how to listen, knowing when to enter, knowing when to, so also knowing that this door, maybe we leave this one, or we need to go into this door.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful art.
And well, talking about your experience, so what has been one of your most powerful and unexpected insight that you have gained through the Walk Talk Connect? All those conversations. There must have been something that you're like, oh no, I had no idea.
But it's every day. It's literally every day. So I feel uncomfortable answering that question because I don't want my guests to say so as when we walked up, mine was not a thing. No.
Yeah.
They've all been impactful, and that's why, Corey, I write a story after each walk, because I want to honor the fact that we've just had a conversation, and from this conversation I've learned something. So just like when people ask me what's your favorite book, and I say the book I'm currently reading, my favorite walk is the one I had today. But yesterday it was my favorite, the other day was my favorite. Yes, so that I don't have to pick and choose. But absolutely, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
I like the conversations that make me think. And I think, like I said, every day I'm gifted with that. So today, for example, I worked with Flavia Tumusime. She's a well-known media figure, media personality. When I asked her, what is she expecting of life? What is she looking forward to in 2025? And she said, I want every day to surprise me. And I was like, wow.
Now, that is quite amazing.
How do I wake up tomorrow and say, today surprise me?
Yeah, because think about it. The sun is up. So, let's see what it can do.
So, like I said, and was that in the conversation yesterday? No, yesterday's conversation was about something absolutely different and beautiful for that moment. So, all day, every day.
And we're looking through the book you've talked about. You always write a book. Let's talk about Facing Mountains. Now, this has been recognized as one of the 100 notable African books of 2024. I must say congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No, absolutely unexpected.
Yeah. So what was the biggest personal challenge that you faced while writing the book? And not only that, what do you hope readers should take away from the book?
So, one of my mentors is the Honorable Rhoda Kalema. I remember visiting her a few years ago, and she was in the process of writing her book. And I love visiting her house because there's paper after paper, notebook after notebook. Like, she has things about her life that she keeps records.
Wow.
And I remember that time she told me, Jackie, one day write everything down.
Yes.
And you know how you don't listen to your elders in the moment. You don't understand what they are trying to tell you. Of course, at that point, I wasn't really thinking. I was like, I journal, I write in notebooks, in meetings. But fast forward to when I was writing my book, I was like, no wonder she said that, because you think you will remember and you won't. Or you might not remember it to the detail that you want. You might want a date. You might want, who was I talking to? Posy, she was called who? So people. I think that was my greatest learning, that if you want to start the writing journey, especially life writing, so either your memoir, your autobiography, write. You might think you will remember people. Our memories fade. Time truly heals all things, erases memory. So write. And then the other thing that I struggled with was sometimes you, in the process of writing a memoir, you go to memories you thought you had healed from, forgiven. So it was like a re-cleansing. Like I thought I'd forgiven Corey, but I didn't know that I still hold this. Right? And so telling yourself again, I forgive that, I release it. Or remembering a thing and saying, should this go into this book? Maybe out of honoring the relationship, honoring maybe this is not the time. And I think that was so finally, the other learning was that your story is your own, but you're not the only one in your story.
Oh, yes.
Your story is your own, but you are not the only one in your story.
Yes.
So the way you saw a thing, because you were with Jackie at that time, I will see it differently, and so will XYZ. So, yes, you're walking into this with your own truth, but understand that your story is your own, but you're not the only person in that story. So how do you hold in a light way, but in a truthful way, honor the memory of that time?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I am definitely getting this book. I just have to. I just have to.
I also read a notable book.
You know. But anyway, can we talk about African development and leadership? Looking at Africa's future, what leadership qualities do you think the next generation needs to embrace to drive meaningful change?
Wow.
You know, this generation of these days, honestly, Generation Z, Alpha, sometimes I don't even understand it. But looking at all that, what qualities of leadership do you think?
So when you say that, two things came to mind. That we must remember that they are a product of past generations. So even as leaders now, we must always remember that the work we do is generational. So think about the decision you're making today will impact, I don't know, generation, whichever. And then because the people of that time will be thinking, Kale, these people, right? But we are a product of the generation who then handed it to another, who handed it, and what I'm doing now impacts, and what you'd like. If we understood that the work we do, the leadership we do is generational. So if I stand here and think to the 20 generations down from me, what do I need to do today? May we think generationally. And may we also remember that we are here today, gone tomorrow. So what is your footprint? And to really think about it carefully.
Oh, yes.
Maya Angelou is the one who said, people may forget what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So as a leader, man, we say words, we talk things, eh? And, but just remember, how have I made her or him feel? And how do I hold that even as I have power over people? And then finally, for me, humility is a big thing. Like, guys, what goes up goes down. Hey, let's remember. Remember our days of small beginnings, right? Remember that also you one day you didn't know. Also remember you don't know everything. Also remember, like, humility. Humility is critical.
Well, looks like our time is catching up with us. Any final sweet advice to anyone listening in right now? Because they could be saying, with all that Jackie has said, if I could only get that advice, it could change my entire life.
Oh my goodness. Then you need friends.
Like Jackie.
Like me. No, so one thing I'm also very big on is say thank you.
Yeah.
Say thank you. My coach that I had, Moses Mukisa, challenged me to that a leader should always have thank you notes in their bag.
Yeah.
That we don't, in fact, say thank you as often as we need to. So just for today, even as you put down, put the last fork in your mouth, as you walk away from your lunch today, who do you need to say thank you to? Please say thank you at least once a day, several times a day, but say thank you.
Yes. I love that one. Anyway, I'm glad you came through for this lunch date, but I bet on your phone, there's someone you say your last call. You must have said, I'm heading to Sonyo FM today. Who was that?
Who did I call last? No. I was actually in a Zoom. I was on a Zoom meeting. But I did yesterday when I passed out the thing. I told my staff members, my family, So I hope people are listening. But who did I call last? Oh Lord, I don't even remember. I don't even have my phone. But whoever you are, you know yourself.
Yeah.
I hope you've had a nice time.
Well, thanks for coming through, Jackie, because we've got amazing having you here.
Thank you so much for hosting me.